Part 1. There's a word that's been surfacing in my life lately. Discernment. Not judgment, not suspicion, not the reflex of deciding who's in and who's out before you know anything. Discernment. The ability to see clearly, to separate what's yours from what isn't, to know quietly what deserves your attention and what doesn't. Because here's what I've noticed, we're swimming in noise. Opinions, outrage, information designed not to inform but to hook. And the more noise there is, the harder it is to hear your own voice. Thomas Aquinas said something that sounds heavy, but underneath it's simple. Your conscience is yours. Act against it and you'll know. Not because someone tells you, because you'll feel it. And here's the problem, most of us don't trust our own conscience anymore. We've outsourced it to algorithms, groupthink, and whoever shouts loudest. So this week is about reclaiming your inner voice by sitting in silence long enough to know what you actually think. Part 2. How Judgment Shows Up. Judgment doesn't usually announce itself, it slips in quietly, as the quick dismissal of someone you've never met, the opinion you repeat without checking, the certainty you feel about something you only know one side of. Sometimes it shows up as the voice in your head that says, they're stupid, they're dangerous, they're not like me. And sometimes it shows up as judgment turned inward. I'm not enough. I should have known better. What's wrong with me? Judgment in its raw form is separation. It puts a wall between you and someone else, or between you and yourself. And walls feel safe for a while, until you realize you're standing alone in a cell you built. Here's what I've learned about judgment. It's often a shortcut. You think you're seeing clearly, but you're often looking through layers you didn't choose. Assumptions, reactions, borrowed conclusions. And the more noise there is, the harder it becomes to hear something simpler. Your own sense of what's actually true. Part 3. The psychology of self-respect, discernment and civility. Self-respect is often misunderstood. People think it means thinking highly of yourself, never admitting you're wrong, or demanding that others treat you a certain way. But self-respect isn't about how others see you, it's about how you see yourself. It's the quiet refusal to let the noise tell you who you are. The choice to think for yourself even when it's easier not to. The willingness to say, I need to sit with this before I decide. That's where discernment comes in. Discernment is the practice of seeing clearly, not reacting or defaulting to the crowd, just noticing. What's actually true here? What's mine to carry? What's someone else's noise that I don't need to pick up? And then there's civility. Civility isn't politeness, politeness is surface. Civility is respect, even when you disagree. Even when you see clearly that someone is lost in their own noise. It's the choice to remain human in your interactions, not to win or prove you're right, just to stay present without losing yourself. With self-respect, you won't betray yourself to belong. Discernment enables you to see clearly before deciding, and civility is the quiet decision to treat others as human, even when you disagree. Together, self-respect, discernment and civility form something rare. A person who can stand alone when needed, see clearly and still remain human. Part 4. Metaphor. The cell and the safe. Imagine you're in a cell. Not a physical cell, but close enough. Limited resources, limited movement, waiting for someone else to release you. And outside that cell there's noise, chaos, things you don't want to take in. You're run down, cold, tired, and nobody's coming to save you. In fact, here's the part that changes everything. The other people in this place, they're waiting for someone to see clearly. You're the one who has to get out first. Not because you're better, because you're the one who noticed. And in your cell, there's a safe. It's been there the whole time. You just didn't notice it. You were too busy waiting. You crack it open. Inside, there isn't gold or escape plans. There's something else entirely. Pure consciousness. The one thing that can't be taken from you. The one thing that can see clearly no matter what's happening around you. And here's what you realize. The cell wasn't locked from the outside, it was locked by your own attention. Your focus on what you couldn't control, waiting for someone else to fix it. Discernment is the key you already had. It's the ability to see. The noise, the fear, the story you've been telling yourself, maybe it's not yours. Once you see clearly, you're not stuck anymore. You can move, act, and help others see too. Part 5. Reframe, invitation, and pattern interrupt. So here's a question. What if the judgment you've been carrying about others, about yourself, is just old software? What if it's not truth, but a habit? The habit of deciding too quickly, protecting yourself, assuming you already know. But what if you don't have to decide today? What if you can simply observe, notice, let things be unclear for a while? Lawrence Stern, a writer from a few centuries ago, said, "Respect for ourselves guides our morals. Respect for others guides our manners." In other words, you don't have to agree with someone to treat them like a fellow human, and you don't have to lose yourself to stay connected. Discernment isn't about being right, it's about being awake. So here's your invitation this week. When you feel the urge to judge, pause. Ask yourself, do I actually know what I think I know? Or am I just repeating something I heard? If the noise is loud, the kind that tells you who to hate, what to fear, who to dismiss, give yourself permission to turn it off. You don't have to listen, decide, or judge. You can simply remain silent. And in that silence, you might find something you've been missing. Your own voice, clearer than it's been in a long time. Part 6. Hypnotic Close. And if it's comfortable for you to do so, you may allow your eyes to close just for a moment, noticing your breath. Nothing to change, just noticing. And as you settle, you might notice that you've been carrying something. a weight of decisions, judgments, knowing who's in and who's out. And you might also notice that you can put that weight down, not because the world is simple, but because you are clear. And clarity doesn't need to judge, it just sees. So as you breathe gently, easily, allow yourself to rest in that seeing, not figuring anything out, just observing the thoughts that come, the feelings that pass like clouds in the sky. You can watch them, you don't have to become them. And you may allow your own judgment to come from a softer place, a steadier place, a place that belongs to you. And that quiet steadiness can remain with you as you return to the rest of your day.